Good evening, everyone. Today we are talking about Father's Day. So today is a really important day for us. I think partly because many of us have, we might be a father, we have a father figure, we were loved by someone who was a mentor or a teacher to us. I want to make sure that when we're thinking about Father's Day, we're thinking about celebrating all the men in our lives that helped to raise us and form us, not just in the strictest sense. And I think that's some of these holidays, Mother's Day and Father's Day, have become more about, let's think about the people that we want to honor. So actually, I'm looking in the chat. If you could let me know if you're new. So someone says, hi. I don't know who that is because they have a lot of letters in front of their name. But if you're here for the first time, let us know that you're here for the first time. So let's talk about Father's Day. And I'm going to get into it fairly quickly because I've got a lot of good ideas for you. If you're getting ready for Father's Day and you want some ideas, what it is you should be doing, and also some things that you might want to consider if you maybe haven't gotten your gifts yet, or you're thinking about getting something. Some of us are right on top of it, and others of us are waiting until the last minute, and we're going to talk about that today. So Susan says, good to be here with everyone. Thank you, Susan. And Farida says she's new. So hello, Farida. So nice to meet you. Welcome. If you're new, let us know in the chat. So we are about to have some interesting, I think you're going to like these slides, and I think you're going to feel like this is a good thing, some good information for you today. So if you can see my screen, let me know, please. Everybody who can see my screen, give me a thumbs up or tell me in the chat. I'm not seeing from you yet, so I'm going to hold on a minute. I want to make sure that I actually, can you tell me if you, tell me in the chat, please, can you see the screen? Yes, you can see. Thank you, Soyanbi. Thanks for always helping me out. I'm glad you can see the screen. Okay, so let's get started. Talk about celebrating Dad. So the reason I love this topic, for a couple of different reasons. I was actually raised by a very strong father, and I was super close to him. And I want to celebrate him today, but I also want to celebrate my husband, who has been an amazing father to my two children. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. And if you are a father, happy Father's Day on Sunday. I actually had a panic moment yesterday when I was sitting at the very end of the day, and I thought, oh my gosh, did I forget about Father's Day? And then I realized, no, calm down. You're okay. Next Sunday is Father's Day. So next Sunday is Father's Day, and we want to be celebrating our dads. So as I said, Sunday is Father's Day, and what we want to talk about is appreciation, love, and gratitude. So if your father is with you, you are very blessed, still with you. And if he's passed on, then I hope that you remember him fondly. For those of you who maybe were not raised with a father figure in your home, I hope that there was a man who was good to you and kind to you and helped you and loved you, and that you feel grateful. Maybe it was a teacher that you had. Maybe it was somebody from the clergy. Maybe it was an uncle or a friend or neighbor. I've heard of many, many people stepping up and saying, you know what, this man was not my biological father, but he was really wonderful to me, and he took me under his wing. Okay, so your father is your first teacher, right? He's the person who kind of says, this is how it's going to go. This is what our family's all about. He points you in the right direction. That was certainly my father's role for me. And many of you who have had fathers that you were close to, that idea that our father points us in the right direction and shows us that path in life. So I want to this was my husband, I think, and that you can see the girl is a little bit taller and the boy is a little bit shorter, which is what it's like in our family, that my daughter is a little bit older. It was that idea of bringing them along and helping them really to grow and mature. Second role I think they have is as mentor. They are role models for us. They model behavior, and they model what a family could and should look like. So having a man in our house, my current house has been just a way for us to build and to grow. Now, I know many of you live alone. You don't live with a partner of any kind. But I want you to just kind of think about what was that time in my life where someone was a mentor or role model to me, because all of those people are important to us. They help to form us. I'm not sure if I would be the person that I am today if I didn't have good role models, teachers, father, uncles that really inspired me and helped me to do better, and also acted as a protector. They were always there to protect me and to guide me. And I'm reading a wonderful book right now called kind of crazy name. I'm going to have to type it in here because I'm never going to be able to pronounce it properly. It is the winner of the Nobel Prize, if you can believe it. And the name is Kristen Lavren's daughter. And I just typed it in the chat so you can see it. It is the story of a young woman. And if you know anything about any of the Norwegian or Swedish languages, the ending part, D-A-T-T-E-R, means daughter. So that means that this young woman was the daughter of Lavrans. And it is an epic novel, if you will. I think it was written in the 1920s. And it was the story of her life. And so it's set actually in medieval times. If you think about it, a book set in medieval times, written in the 1920s, how could this possibly be relevant to me? But it really is. And it's the story of this young woman and her coming of age and how she rebels against her family and falls in love with a young man and what happens to him. So winner of the Nobel Prize, well worth reading, but I will tell you it is very long. I'm about halfway through it and I'm on page about 550. So it's about a 1,200 page or 1,100 page novel. So I'm zooming through it, which is amazing. And the translation that I'm using is actually very good. So consider that, the idea of the role of the daughter. So for me, that's a very important role. Okay, so I'm going to teach you 4 things that I think can help you as you plan for Father's Day. And then I'm going to give you some ideas that I also think will help you for Father's Day. Things that you might not have thought about, that you might be thinking, well, maybe, maybe not. So let's get started. 4 tips for you to get started and to plan right away. And then some great essential oil ideas, and especially some essential oil ideas for men. So let's get to those tips. Planning first. So number 1, whoops, here we go, is plan, of course. Planning is super important. You want to make sure that you're getting together with family and friends or whoever is necessary to plan the special day for Dad. You don't want to be caught out at the last minute. That's not a good place to be. I know in our house, we've had a lot going on here, folks, and that's sort of the second part of this story is that last Wednesday, my mother, age 90, was taken to the hospital with a very high fever, 40 centigrade, and just lethargic and non-responsive. And so that's been a very kind of troubling journey. She was released from the hospital over the weekend, but went immediately into rehab. So she is much, much better than she was. And for those of you who knew, some of you did not, thank you for all your prayers and good wishes that you've been sending this way. She's going to be in rehab for quite a while, we think. And she continues to need prayers. And as you know, she just celebrated her 90th birthday. So this was sort of came up really unexpectedly, but I guess that's true with all illnesses. So number 1 is plan. And I have to say, I'm extremely grateful that I had done some of the planning for Father's Day before this time, because now I'm running all over the place trying to go see my mom and, excuse me. Trying to go see my mom, trying to get things done. And I don't know if I would be able to do as good a job in planning if I hadn't done it before, but you still have a week, so don't despair. Next thing you want to try to do is to shop early. So don't get into the 11th hour rush. How many of you have been in stores? And I want you to tell me, thank you, everybody. Thank you for saying bless you. If you have been in that position where you shopped at the last minute, there were no cards left. Thank you, everybody who's saying that they'll pray for my mother. Thank you so much. Who's been in a store, and let me know in the chat, The last minute, you didn't get the things that you needed. There were no cards left. There was no ribbon left. There were no gifts left. There was nothing for the person that you wanted. You expected to get into the house, in and out of the shop quickly. Nothing left. Or maybe you got online, right? Because now we're not so much shopping in stores as much as we're shopping online. If you got into online, I know lately sometimes I go to order something and it's completely out of stock. So our stores are just beginning to open up here. I'm not sure where you are, but if you're listening to this and you can hear me, let me know. Are shops open near you or they're not open? So number 2 is shop early. Seems pretty basic, but important, especially if you're going to be ordering from doTERRA, right? Number 3, get creative. How about, let's use this as an example, a great night's sleep. So this is supposed to be my husband, and as he's going to sleep, excuse me, and we're going to talk about great night's sleep and how you can help another person to get a great night's sleep. So this is my husband's routine and mine as well. Actually, I'm going to stop off and get a sip of water if you can hold on for a minute. Okay, much better. That'll help me as I'm talking, and hopefully not sneezing. So what is my husband's routine? And I have to say, my husband sleeps like a log. He never wakes up. The only time he wakes up, interestingly enough, is if my kids are out and they come tiptoeing in the house. He'll immediately perk up and shout out their names like, hey, Lauda, or Henry, what's going on? You're home? Okay, great. If he happens to doze off, most of the time we're just kind of sitting up waiting for them to come home. So his routine is as follows. Number 1, electronics off. So about an hour before we go to bed, we turn off our electronics. So that means telephones, iPads, iPods, whatever the things are, the electronics that could be disturbing us. Televisions, we try not to watch anything disturbing right before we go to sleep, because all of those images can kind of implant in your brain. And also you don't want the blue light that's coming from electronics. It does disturb the your brain waves. You want to make sure that you're not using anything that's going to interrupt your sleep or make you feel less comfortable than you need to be. Number 2 is a warm drink. Now, for me, this usually means tea. For my husband, it can mean a whole variety of things. But that idea of drinking something warm, kind of soothing the body, bringing the body temperature down to a kind of a normal level. You want to feel that the room is cool, but not freezing cold, of course. And here in the United States, we tend to err on the side of cold. And by that, I mean cold air conditioning. The aircon here can be excessive. And in my house, it's no different. I actually have a jacket over here just in case as I'm working that I don't start freezing to death. Number 3 is a shower, kind of releasing the body, kind of, again, bringing the body back to a normal temperature. My husband very frequently exercises in the late afternoon. So for him, that shower, again, before bed, he's getting into bed, he's feeling a little bit more comfortable, and then he's finally just kind of unwinding. The idea is a routine that you do every night. One of the things that I do in my full focus planner, and those of you who know me know I use this all the time. Actually, that's a sticker. It doesn't come with that. The full focus planner has something that's called daily rituals. So I hope you can see that. And the daily rituals include a morning ritual and an evening ritual. How do you shut down your day? And you want to kind of cue your body. This is what we need to do every day. And then finally, diffuse. So for him, diffusing usually means cedar wood or lavender piece, or maybe even some, I'm trying to think, one of the other wood oils. I'm going to talk about wood oils in a minute and why they're important, and specifically important for men. So that's your tip number 3. To give them something special. Tip number 4 is let's make it wow. So I don't know if you know this, but June 19th, in addition to being Father's Day this year, is actually National Martini Day. And while some of you may not be martini drinkers, and I've thought of that, don't worry, I'm going to give you a little recipe for a martini that includes some essential oils in it. Let's see our martini. So that could be a fun thing that Dad might like, right? A martini, if he's a martini drinker. And if he's not, we've got an alternative for him. So how about a lavender martini? So 3 ounces, 90 milliliters of vodka, 15 milliliters of lemon juice, and 1 tablespoon of lavender simple syrup. Now, here's the cool thing about the lavender simple syrup. You can make this syrup and you can store it apart in your refrigerator for actually even up to a month, maybe even more. What I love about the lavender syrup is that it can be used in other things. You can use it in lemonade. You can use it in sparkling water. You can use a teaspoon or so, or a soup spoon in plain water. It really is quite delicious. And you can even add it into things like cakes, so that, or cookies, to give a little bit more flavor, because it really is just sugar, water, and a little bit of lavender syrup. But you do have to kind of cook the water with the sugar so that the sugar completely dissolves and doesn't come apart. So here's my first tip. You've given me my 4 tips. Now let's talk about my favorite oils for men, and why they're my favorite oils for men. Because I think as you pick your products for your father or your father figure, maybe it's someone that you are close to, maybe it's a neighbor or a colleague, you want to pick things that are going to be specifically good with men's chemistry. And I'm going to explain that for a while. And I see we have some men on here. Gentlemen, if you've used any of these oils that I'm going to suggest, I want to hear from you after I show the next slide. Okay, so my favorite oils for men are the wood oils and the spice oils. So in the wood oil category, cedarwood, sandalwood, cypress, Douglas fir, arbor vitae, Siberian fir, eucalyptus, and frankincense. And you know those are all our tree oils, right? So we're talking about stability, strength, grounding, right? All of these oils, excellent. They're great for anybody, but they're great for men, right? And our spice oils, black pepper, cardamom, cassia, cinnamon bark, clove, coriander, ginger, and juniper berry. And interestingly enough, most of these oils fall in the protecting and restoring part of the chemistry wheel. So if you haven't heard about the chemistry wheel before, and so let me know in the chat, have you heard of the chemistry wheel? Let me know. I haven't seen a lot of activity in the chat. I'm really looking. So let me know if you've seen anything, you've seen these oils. There we go. Okay, have you used these wood oils? And take a photograph of this. Do you know about the chemistry wheel? Christy says she loves the wheel. Yes, you love the wheel. Okay, so we can talk more about these oils and the chemistry wheel again, but I wanted you to know why they're my favorite. So it's not just I pulled it out of the air. We want to think of men in the role of protection and restoration. I can think of being a girl and my father sort of patting me on the shoulder when I was crying. What's a funny story about that actually is that my father was deaf in one ear, and he had lost his hearing as a result of an injury from the war. My father served in World War II, if you can believe it. And so sometimes I would come to him when I was a little girl, and I would be crying, or I would be saying, making some sort of long-winded story, a complaint, and I would be halfway through the story, and he would say, "Come and sit on my other knee because I can't hear a word you're saying." So now I laugh about it, but at the time I would think, oh, told this whole story and he didn't even hear one word that I said. But I know in my heart that he loved me very, very much. And that has really formed me. So that's something that I talk about in today's blog, that the guidance of someone who was a strong father figure. And my father died when I was 18, so that he died pretty young. He was not a perfect person. He had his demons like all of us do. He was not a saint. But I love that idea of just being there for somebody else. And I see a lot of the characteristics of my father in my husband. And I'm sure down deep, I kind of chose him because I knew that he was going to take care of our family and protect us and be a good leader and a guide for our family. So Ning says she has not heard about the chemistry wheel yet, but she's looking forward to hearing about it. Farida also, because she's new, says she doesn't know about the chemistry wheel, but I know a lot of you do. So if you look on the chemistry wheel and you look under protecting and restoring, those are really the oils that I want you to seek out. But also wood oils and spice oils. So now, many of these oils can be blended together. You can take a wood and you can take a spice and put it together. You can take a wood, a spice, and add in a citrus oil to make your own blends. The other thing that I love about making blends for people is they're really easy to package up as gifts. You can pick oils that you already have. You can put them in a sprayer bottle. Maybe dad would like a spray, maybe for his room or his bathroom. You can also put it in a roll-on so dad can roll it on his feet. Get creative with this. I know some of you in Singapore, I've seen you do soap making classes. Okay, so anybody who's done a soap making class, let me know in the chat. I want to see who's done a soap making class, because I think that's a really interesting thing. And you could put some of these oils in soaps and they would make a good gift for dad. Okay, soap making, anyone? Okay, but here are the blends that we can give to dad, suggested blends that we can make up for dad. So happy Father's Day has that cedar wood in there. Peilu says yes, that she has made soaps. Anybody else? Tell me if you've made soaps. Cedarwood, frankincense, and peppermint. Man cave, cypress, white fir. Okay, so those of you who have never heard of white fir, this is an older slide, as you know. You please substitute Siberian fir. But I also know that some of you are saving your white fir, so you could use 2 drops of it here if you wanted to with your cedarwood. That actually is one of my favorite blends. But I do substitute Siberian fir. For me, they are almost interchangeable. Father and son, gentle and caring, new dad, hugs from dad, dad's laugh, and fantastic father. So I love all of these. Danielle says, yes, love to make soaps. You can really personalize your soaps with the oils. Yes, that's a great thing to do. And so would dad like a nice bar of soap? I have to say, my husband is a bar of soap kind of guy. He doesn't like body wash, and so is my son. I wonder if it's like a father-son thing. I personally am a body wash kind of girl, but and I think so is my daughter, but I feel like men love a bar of soap. So type in the chat, what do you think? Yes, men love bar of soap and women love gel. I don't know. And if you're a man who doesn't like a bar of soap, also let me know. Okay. Oh, Sihan says yes. Bar host. Hanatan says yes. Okay, here we go. Megan says yes. Ning says my husband loves bar soap. So here we go. Men love bar soap. Any other men? Zihao, I see you on there. I know that you are a man. Let me know if you love bar soap. Susan says only bar soap for her husband. Ben says bar soap for me. Okay. Okay, then this is like we're getting some good information here. Christy says my husband loves the Citrus Bliss bath bar. Ella says my husband loves bar soap. Okay. I don't know who else is on here. Any of the men? Yep, I like it. Thank you, Zihao. I know I called you out, but I want to hear. Lynette says love doTERRA Serenity Bath Soap. Look, we can all love bath soap, but I think men specifically love the bar, not the gel. Janet says my husband loves the Serenity bar soap. So here's some interesting mixes that you can make. Maybe put them in your soap. Take a photograph of the slide because I think it has some good blends in here for you. Sherry says yes, bath soap for my hubby. Okay, go Sherry, I love it. And Peilu says love the bath soap too. Okay, so last but not least, don't ever forget that hugs make great gifts, right? Our gifts don't always have to cost money, and I know that in this time of financial difficulty for some families, we want to make sure that we're just encouraging families to stick together. I feel like I've been extremely blessed during all of coronavirus to be able to be with my family, with my husband. And as things have begun to shift over the last week or so, it's actually my husband, my son, and me. So we've gone from a household of 5 to a household of 3, but we're getting along really well and things are very kind of simple and easy. And they're both super supportive. And it's interesting over these last, I guess, I don't even know how many weeks we've been here now. I think it's almost 14. I've seen my son really grow up. I think he's seeing a great example in my husband. He's in a tighter knit situation, and he's become a man in these last 14 weeks. So it's been a wonderful thing to see. And I know for many of you who've been following me for a while, you know that he's leaving for college in 2 months. And I think we're actually going to be taking a break. We're going to be driving, I think, down to Texas. So if you look at a map of the United States, We're going to be taking that long drive, and I don't know when we're going to be leaving. And so I'll keep you posted, and you'll know about my journey. Don't worry. But just so you know, there have been gifts of this time for all of us to be together. And I can absolutely see the fruits of those gifts and the graces. So one last thing that I want to remind you of, please, you have been amazing about going to Instagram this last week. I mean, just amazing. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you feel like it's been fun over there. We've been trying to do something a little bit more lighthearted. I know that my posts have been a little bit erratic this week. I think with Mom in the hospital, it's just been a little bit all over the place. But this week I'm back, and you know that I'm still celebrating the month of June. So for those of you who were not here on the 1st of June when I announced it, June is my birthday and anniversary month. And I want to make sure that you understand that I'm going to be having some big giveaways, some really big giveaways in the month of June. And this week is no different. If you go to Instagram and you look up Elena Jordan, and then you follow the rules, and they're pretty easy. Most of the time, it's just like the post and maybe post, but you have to read what it is, post a comment on the post. You could be the winner of, are you ready? A full Amavi kit. So this morning we're going to be talking about the Amavi kit, and many of you know the Amavi kit just came out in time for Father's Day. Many of them have already sold out depending on what market you're in. So if you're in the market for an Amavi kit and you want to be in on this, and look, even if you're not celebrating Father's Day, this is a really cool thing. And there are a lot of people on Instagram, but not as many as you would think. And some of you, if I'm looking at the names, I know some of you have actually won on Instagram. If you have won on Instagram, let us know. Oh, see, Nick says mine arrived today. Anybody else already? Oh, Ella says, wow. Yes, Ella. Christine says, amazing, so generous, but you have to go to Instagram to get into this giveaway. And the winner will be announced on Friday, and we'll send it out as quickly as possible. So tell me if you've been on Instagram, and maybe let me know, are you on Instagram already? Let me know, have you won? And I know there's a couple of you that have won already on Instagram, which is really cool because you've contacted me, and we've been running giveaways every single solitary week in June. Elaine says, me, but I didn't get my Mur yet. Okay, Elaine, I know it's on its way. We've had a lot of delays with shipping, and I hope I'll double check that, make sure that it didn't get lost. We've had a couple of packages come back, but in general, everybody's been arriving, everything. Danielle says, I have not won yet, but I would love to. Stay in it, Danielle, because you'd be surprised. Some people don't answer the questions that we ask them to, and so you've got a really good opportunity. I know that Megan has won, and a couple of other people have won on Instagram. So that's I think a pretty cool gift, and maybe we'll throw in something extra. We'll see. So in the meantime, get on Instagram and follow, and we'll tell you all about that in the next slide. As always, I want to say thank you to our Presidential Diamond team. This is the most wonderful team, and so generous and so thoughtful. And I feel like every week when we're here, they have you've just opened up your hearts to me, and I'm extremely grateful for that. Another gift I have for you is if you go to elenajordan.com and you sign up for our monthly newsletter or for the blog, because we produce a weekly blog, you subscribe to our blog, you'll get a free copy of my cookbook. So we have this one cookbook that's been there, I want to say about a month now, but we're going to be taking that down and we're going to be putting up another one. So if you want the original, the #1, cookbook #1, and there's going to be a whole series, then absolutely go to elenajordan.com and subscribe, and you'll be able to get that, just my free gift for you. So here's what our Instagram page is looking like. We actually have gone up by about 100 followers, which is really super cool. Please follow. We'd love to see you there. And that's the place where I communicate on a daily basis. So you can see little videos, you can see posts. Some of those posts get reposted to other chat groups and to Facebook. But in general, that's my my broadcast station, if you will. Remember, you are amazing. I'm so happy that you're all here. I hope that you've enjoyed today's presentation. Try to do something a little bit different for Father's Day. And then last but not least, thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us every single week, and have a wonderful week. Okay, so now we're going to say goodbye actually to some of our followers, but not in a sad way at all. I just want you to know, if you're watching this on YouTube and you subscribe below, you can actually find out about how to get on this YouTube live. And if you are not on YouTube and you're watching this on Zoom, stay tuned, because I'm going to be picking 2 winners for our Father's Day gifts. So we find that when we give away the gifts, people sometimes get confused, which makes sense, right? Actually, I want to stop the share. Here we go. Oops. Stop the share. Okay, there we go. Much better. Want to okay, so we are saying a thank you to everyone who's been here listening to this today for Father's Day. Click subscribe below and you'll be able to see many more videos as they're released. We're usually releasing at least 2 videos, if not more, per week, all about essential oils and everything in your language. We have both English and Spanish language videos coming out every single week. So have a great week, everyone.